All right, let's talk about high wind techniques. So there's a couple things you can do when the winds pick up. One is you want to flatten your sails. You want to have a really tight outhaul. So you want to pull in your jib halyard real tight like it is now, and then also pull in your main halyard real tight. So the other thing's mast bend. I don't have a backstay adjuster, so what I do is I tighten my backstay as far as it would go to the maximum setting, and then when you put on the forestay real tight, it puts a little bend at the top of the mast, and so they call that pre-bend. And so my mast has just a little bit of pre-bend. I could get more bend out of it if I had a backstay adjuster, but I just don't. Alright, so here you can see that there is just a little bit of bend in the top third of the mast. The other thing is the vang. So a lot of people say to tighten the vang as the wind picks up, to flatten your sail, but really what that does is that's tightening the leech, and it reduces twist. And so what you want is you want a little twist to spill some air at the top and to depower your sails. And so I keep my vang a little loose when the winds pick up, just to allow that mainsail to twist. It also reduces heeling greatly. And then of course, you know, the reef, right? So I added a second reef, which you can see up there. And having a second reef on this boat is amazing. It reduces the total mainsail area from 85 square feet down to only 40. So it really keeps the boat nice and flat. I can still achieve full hull speed in windy conditions, and so it's been great. It's made it a lot more enjoyable for my family as well. The other thing is, you want to learn how to go hove to. And there's not a lot of wind right now, so we're kind of spinning, but normally it would keep the boat a little bit into the wind, and it's a nice way to basically take a break, or if the wind's just really kicking, you can just basically stop the boat when you're hove to. Okay, so this is the cars for the jib sheets. And so you can move them forward or back, typically forward for lighter air sailing, backwards for heavier air. So this graphic shows the jib car adjustments. On the left, the jib car is all the way forward, and on the right, the jib car is further aft. Now, anytime you pull at an angle, there's going to be an X and a Y component of force. And in this case, that's vertical and horizontal. So when the jib car is forward, then you're going to have the dominant force being in the vertical component, so a downward force applied by the sheet on the sail. And with more downward force, you're going to have a loose foot, the sail's going to have more draft at the bottom, and then you're going to have a tight leech because you're applying that downward force on the leech of the sail, and very little twist. So on the right, with the jib cars aft, which is what you use in heavier airs, you can see that the predominant force is in the horizontal plane now. And so that's being applied at the foot of the sail, which releases tension on the leech. So with more horizontal force, you have a tight foot, you have a flat bottom of your sail, you have less draft, and then you have an open leech with more twist, which allows you to depower that foresail. And then the last thing is the centerboard. So there's a lot of different ideas out there on how the centerboard should be. Some people say, well, when it gets really windy, I pull it up, and that way the boat doesn't trip on it. Or if the wind is really blowing and the boat's heeling, it'll allow the boat to slip a little bit to the side and not heel as much. I've tried those things, and I just don't find that to be true. So the boat does not get a lot of weather helm, excessive weather helm, unless you're over canvassed. And so I reef early, and so really, if you start pulling in the centerboard while you're reefed, you're actually going to get a lot of lee helm, which can be dangerous, because if you let go of the tiller, or if you fall overboard or whatever, hit your head, the boat will, instead of turning into the wind, it'll actually turn away from the wind with the lee helm. So with the centerboard fully down, it maintains the proper balance and the proper weather helm of the boat, even with two reefs in. When you're moving fast and the wind's really blowing, and I've got two reefs in, I still put the centerboard full down, and I really do feel like it gives you the best control of the boat.